Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Noona's Noonchi podcast, where I'm joined by special guests to do deep dives, reactions, talk all things K-dramas from a mental health perspective and more. I am so excited about today's guests, the K3, your K-Drama BFFs. And I heard about them first on Clubhouse. I feel like we're meeting everybody on Clubhouse. And so I'm super excited to have you guys talk more about what you guys do, how you turned into the K3 and more. So I want to first talk, so Marisa Johnston, Jennifer Wilson, and I would love for you guys to talk about how you guys came about being the K-Drama BFFs. How did K3 come about? Let's start off with talking about yourself.
Okay. So we met through a mutual friend who, unbeknownst to us, was also a K-drama lover. And I mentioned that I had a Soji sub obsession out loud at a party. And she was like, I love Soji sub. And I'm like, wait, what? And then she's like, you need to meet my friend Jen. So, and I was like, okay, who are these two white women who love K-dramas? But we spent hours in a coffee shop, like for a couple of weeks, just talking about the K-dramas we were watching, what we loved. And then Jen said,
I foolishly thought we could do this easily. And I was like, guys, let's put together a podcast and let's talk about it. Let's do this on YouTube and get to 10,000 subscribers so that we can start using their production facilities. Cause I want to produce my own stuff. I thought piece of cake, right? Yeah. No, but that is how it all got started. And so they were like, are you insane? And then they were like, wait, all right, well, maybe we'll try it. And then we tried it and then we just kept doing it. Right.
Yeah. And it blossomed. Our third partner eventually left to pursue her own things. And so we were like, all right, who is the K3? Well, it's Jen, and it's Marisa, and it's you, the viewer, who are tuning in.
Today's Noonchi is your K3.
Yes, exactly. And it's just become this amazing community. During the pandemic, we started going live and, you know, it's become this really wonderful, dynamic conversation that happens every Sunday on YouTube. Right? And we just gush about the K-dramas we're watching.
I'm going to join you guys soon. I didn't realize it was every Sunday. So yes, I'll be coming.
Great.
Okay, so Jennifer, I don't really get to see you as much on Clubhouse, depending on your schedule. Yeah,
correct. Yes,
Marisa, when I first got to know her in one of the K-drama rooms, one of the many that we talk about, I always was blown away by what she would say. You always throw in a nugget, and I'm like, I never heard of that K-drama. Let me put it on my list, because there are things that you bring out that I'm like, what? Where is this K-drama? So let's start from the beginning. First of all, how you guys got into it? I'm going to ask Jen. Let's start with the white woman.
Okay, let's start with the white woman. How did the white woman find Korean dramas?
Yes.
So I was sitting home watching Netflix, kind of doing that thing where you're desperately just scrolling for something to watch. I'm sure I was probably a little bit depressed at the time. And I was watching like a bunch of foreign dramas. I had watched some German. I had watched some Spanish. I had watched, I think, a Japanese drama. And then I watched a Chinese drama. And I think that's what triggered the algorithm, because then they recommended Descendants of the Sun.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah. Wait a second. How long ago was this, Jen? Sorry to interrupt you.
2016.
Netflix doesn't have Descendants.
Right.
I know. No more. Yeah.
Right. So Descendants of the Sun started, and I still vividly remember what happened. So I hit play, and there's the opening scene where the shot is from the sky and it comes down, right? And then it goes across the DMZ and through the helmet. And I was like, and then it cuts to this like war room, and I don't know what happened, but I went, oh, I know virtually nothing about what I'm about to watch. Right? Yeah. And I hit pause, and all of a sudden I was Googling Korea. And then I got into the drama, and then I couldn't decide which male lead I liked the most. What? And then, I couldn't decide. I have since fallen on team Jingu for sure all day. I was second lead all day. It was the most fascinating piece of storytelling I'd seen, especially coming just from an all US Western style of storytelling. Like dudes were crying and like having emotion, and the guys were friends with, it was just so different. But yet Maurice actually said this in our first video, so different yet so familiar. And so that's where it became super fascinating to me. And yeah, and so that is
the rest is the rabbit
and
hole.
the rest just I just could not absorb enough. And then I started studying the language, and then it just all went from there.
Oh my gosh. Well, okay, put a pause on that. I want to hear about the language thing. So so we heard from the white woman. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's white woman out.
I want to say this. If you speak Korean better than me, I'm gonna be upset. We're gonna have to discuss that. Let's talk about it later.
I assure you, I probably do not. Yes.
Well, I mean, I still need the subtitles, but Marisa, so I love Soju Sub too.
Yeah.
So then talk about how you started with it. Was it with Soju Sub's first K-drama or one of those?
No, it was actually also Descendants of the Sun.
Oh.
It was following the election in 2016. And
that's why
that's
I was
what
depressed.
it was.
That's why I was depressed.
That's probably why you're depressed. I saw some crisis cases the next day.
There it is.
Yeah. So
yeah,
there it is.
And I was searching and searching, and I was not finding solace in the books that I usually, just consumed. And I was watching a lot of Netflix, and because of the foreign films that I was watching, Descendants of the Sun kept popping up, and I kept looking at that thumbnail. I didn't know he was Song Joong-ki at the time, but the aviator sunglasses and the lip gloss, and I finally hit play. And by the end of that first episode, it had just pushed so many of my buttons, like so many that
your heart went thumping.
My heart went thumping. I think I was up till 2 a.m. for the next couple nights. I told my friend Jenny at work, who's Korean American, I'm like, I just watched Descendants of the Sun. And she looked at me and she was like, what took you so long? Like, I understand.
That's a great one. What a great K-drama though, to hook you in.
I mean, I will say this, unfortunately, the bar was set really, really high.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Coming into K-drama land. It was like, it was hard.
Then you needed to go to Goblin probably to match that. Just saying.
She didn't like Goblin.
I know.
Talk about that.
I know.
Put a pause on that too.
I know. I'll put a pause on that.
From the
white girl's got issues. Did not like Goblin.
No, I've heard actually 50-50. I've heard some folks didn't like Goblin. So I hear you, and we all have our own opinions, but I was going to say, so then Marisa, how did you go to the Soju Sub and bond with Jen over him? Was it Master Son?
I think so.
Yeah, it was Master Son. And it was also Oh My Venus.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not sure how I got there from Descendants of the Sun, because, I started going down different rabbit holes, like Song Hye Kyo. I think I watched that Winter the Wind Blows.
Oh God, I didn't watch that. I ended up.
It was kind of depressing though to me. I mean, like it was a good one, but just kind of.
But it was so much. I loved it.
I went the opposite direction. I went on a Song Joong-ki rabbit hole and ended up watching Innocent Man.
Oh yeah. He's a lot. Did you see? Tell me you saw Werewolf Boy. Please tell me you saw Werewolf Boy.
I didn't see that one yet.
Which one?
Werewolf Boy, the movie.
Oh, I have not seen that.
Okay, so if you're looking at Song Joong, it's 2012, so it's before Descendants of the Sun. He looks a little bit more like a boy.
Yeah.
Actor, and he's still really cool, but he was really good in that.
Yeah, and I love Park Bo-young.
She's in that too. I think they both won awards, but so then Soju Sub, yes, and then that's how you bonded, and then the rest is history.
Yeah,
got it. So when did you start your YouTube channel? Was it in COVID or before that?
No, it was before. It was December 2017.
Oh wow. But you also bring astrology into it.
Yes.
So tell me about that. Okay, Jen.
So we were talking one day, we were just talking about shows, and I'm like, hey guys, so I'm really into astrology, and I would love to talk about like the chemistry of these couples and what we think is going to happen. And so I would pull their charts and we would talk about why we thought this show coming up, the chemistry was going to be good, or in shows that we had watched, why it worked, why we didn't think it worked. And so, and people love them so much. Now our standalone ones with just like, hey, Geminis, blah, not so much, but the synastry ones with couples, people are rabid for, and they all want to believe that they all are dating in real life.
Yeah, of course. Right.
Yeah.
So what can you tell me about Aquarians? Because I'm an Aquarius.
Oh, Aquarians are fascinating, and I love Aquarians. Aquarians, basically, you guys are outside the norm. You're like the rebels, right? You are a fixed sign, though. So what you believe to be the right way to go, regardless of what anybody else thinks, that's the path you're going to take. And so you guys have a kind of an eclectic worldview. It's very much about groups. It's very much about sharing a worldview with the groups, kind of a thing. And so it's about being, ultimately an Aquarian is like a higher state of consciousness. So you're bringing a lot of the Aquarians.
Feed my ego here?
Yeah, of course. That's what we do. Yeah. Now you got a bunch of other things in there that will pepper and flavor that Aquarian energy. But at the end of the day, your sanity comes from sharing your worldview that is outside the norm. So you're going to butt up against your tribe, whatever that is. You know, you're going to kind of step outside of that and be like, it's okay. It's going to be good. And that's where you find your sanity.
So some Korean couples out there, any Aquarians related that you like, analyze? Curious.
We've analyzed a few Aquarians. You know who actually, she's not Aquarian, but has a ton of Aquarian energy that we talk about all the time. And that is, oh my God, I just blanked on her name. Kyungbin. Sun Ye-jin.
Oh, I love her.
Sun Ye-jin's got a ton of, like, not a ton, but her, I think if I remember correctly, it's her Mercury, her Venus, and her Mars are in Aquarius. And so especially for sure her Venus and Mars are, so her whole way she's relating to people and taking action is going to be in that vein. So that's why I think she's so popular, is because she doesn't stick to the norm. She doesn't do the tropes. She doesn't do
that's true. And even when she confirmed her relationship, she did it a little bit. It was the way she did it. She actually confirmed it.
Yeah.
And I think people were saying that was not the norm, technically. I don't know.
Right. So she definitely, she's got that Capricorn sun. So she's definitely going to be, she gets business done. Like, she's not going to make a move until she's ready to make a move. And you're not going to know the move's about to happen until it's done. And by then she's crossed every T and dotted every I. And so she's got that mindset. So she's very serious about that stuff. But then she's got that Aquarian energy where she's like, but I also have my own it's interesting because Capricorn is more about tradition and Aquarius is about not being traditional. And so it's an interesting combination for her, for sure.
Wow. I feel like you made me feel better. So this is like my therapy session.
I think astrology has been really good for me, just looking at my own chart, being like,
more about that. I'll look into that too, because I think that's important. So that said, okay, so both of you guys alluded to this. You used the word depression. You were more joking. But when you were like talking about watching Descendants of the Sun and you're like, oh, maybe I was depressed. Tell me some of that experience. Let's just talk about the emotions that come out when you're watching a K-drama. Like, what keeps you watching? Basically, how has it changed your life? Okay, so I kind of went to a big question there, but how has it
that's a big one. That's a big one.
Okay. So what we think when we're watching, we call it a K-drama soup, how there's comedy and there's action and there's pathos and there's political corruption and there's family dynamics and there's revenge, and all of these things will be in one drama.
Right.
And I think that satisfies us in a way that Western television very rarely does at this point in our many years of TV watching.
Right. And I think something that a lot of people always say is the one season idea. Even if there is multiple seasons of a show, each season is one story. So you're it's almost like reading, for me anyway, it's almost like reading a great book.
Yeah.
And you kind of, you know that midpoint turn is coming around episode 8, and then you're going to drive to the end.
And they have their first kiss.
Yeah. So the structure is all there. And so then when you get ones that don't follow that, it's very exciting to see. And then there's some that follow it so well, they just execute it so well that it's like me going back and reading Persuasion by Jane Austen over and over again, because the beats, what's going to happen, but it's just so satisfying when it's done well.
I think people have said that before. Tell me what, expand on that. So you like the soup, you like the mix of everything. And then Jen talked about the fact that there's an ending, and that's what helps. Why? Why do you think there is? Why do you think that's the case?
The completion?
Yeah.
I mean, American series will put a cliffhanger at the end of the series, but you don't know. I mean, they could get canceled in the middle of the summer and it doesn't come back and you're left hanging and you're left with questions. And then there'll be some crowdfunding campaign to get a movie made. But with K-dramas, it ends. There might be a few cliffhangers. They might tease you with the idea of another season, but essentially the main storylines get wrapped up and there's something just satisfying about that.
Yeah.
True.
I think that's what it is. Like, I mean, I don't want to watch a K-drama that is like, we said it actually today in the show. I don't want to watch a Friends 16 season K-drama. Like that holds no appeal to me.
Right.
But if you want to give me a show that will go revisit that world every couple of years for 16 episodes, oh my God, absolutely. Like I love that.
I mean, the other thing is there are actors who we adore.
Yeah.
And we know that for those 16 episodes, they're playing this one character. Yeah. And then a few months from now, they're going to appear in a different show.
Yeah.
Completely different. And that is so wonderful and fun to see because, you know, as great as Friends was, it's 16 seasons of the same.
Yeah, it was 10 seasons. It was 10 seasons, right?
Was it? Sorry.
Yeah, but you're right. I love Friends too, but you're right. I can't believe
it felt like
it felt like
I think Grey's Anatomy.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's what
I'm Grey's Anatomy is still going.
I know. Right?
I think it's never gonna end.
I know.
Ever.
So yeah.
That's so cool. Yeah, and I agree with you. So then, okay, then let's really answer this question. If you can, it's going to be hard to answer this, but what are some K-dramas that you specifically can think of that have made an impact in your life, good or bad?
Oh my gosh, an impact in our life.
Where you felt like
Descendants of the Sun for
clearly.
Sure.
Yeah,
that would be number one.
Because that was your first one, right?
Right
that world. Well, and then Marisa actually said this about Descendants of the Sun when she was watching it, not only because of Song Joong-ki and Jin-gu and watching the heart thumping because we think they're cute, but what was it that really drew you in though? You knew nothing about Korea. You were like Googling it, right?
Yeah,
DMV and all this stuff. And then you're like, but what was it that drew you in? White woman. No kidding.
Mantle of the white woman. I got this.
I joked on that.
It was, there was a certain, I don't know how to explain it. There was a certain level of confidence that I find in all the actors in the K-drama. But I've said, let me back up a little bit. I have said this before. There is a thing about the K-drama industry that appeals to me on a different level than maybe just watching the K-dramas. I take issue with the fact that they work 40 billion hours to do a K-drama and that they don't have unions, and I can get into the weeds on that. Mm-hmm. But the flip side of that is that K-dramas are made from like almost an indie way they do it. So the lead actor is sitting and having lunch with the background player, and there is a thing. They don't have stand-ins. Like they're doing their own lighting. And after being on set so many times with big name actors here in LA that have stand-ins and will be in their trailers and we'll have to we got team one moving across all that kind of heightened elevation of who American or Western actors and actresses are. There's something about the level of humility and confidence in the K-drama actors that something about it really resonated with me, that I really appreciate
right.
it.
See them really, and they're all really close, and I know down to earth in that sense. That's culture, I will say, but that's a great one. I never had someone bring that up. Thanks for sharing that. How about you, Marisa?
Wait, what was the specific question again?
What was the question? Descendants of the Sun, you mentioned
why?
You got hooked in. Why? What was it?
Why?
You said you felt, and then I kind of fed into that saying your heart thumping, but I think there was more to that, right?
Yeah. Well, okay. So for so many reasons, I'm in my 50s. So Asian representation on television, like nil growing up, Star Trek. I mean, Lucy Liu didn't appear until I was I think I was in college or beyond. So there was hardly anyone, and always marginalized, stereotypical. And you know, I didn't watch, my mother never watched like Philippine dramas. Mostly Filipinos watch telenovelas until K-dramas came along. But we love the emotions. But so to watch this K-drama that was, I mean, I used to work in Hollywood. I mean, I work with actors now, but the level of the quality, like, so good. Like, by the time that helicopter landed at the end of the first episode of Descendants of the Sun, I was blown away, right? That was crazy. They didn't just like talk about it. It landed. On the roof.
It landed on the roof.
A movie production, really.
Yeah, exactly. And then they landed in Urk. My God, it was out of control. But to see, oh, God bless her, all these beautiful Asian actors, the quality of the acting, the quality of the production, the storyline that was a buddy thing and a romance thing. It was everything in a story that you could cram in. So it just, you know, so from a personal level, I've traveled in Asia. I have not been to South Korea though. That's on the list for like next year, hopefully. Yeah. Right. But I've traveled enough in Europe and across, I mean, I'm Canadian actually, and across Asia to have this fully Korean production filled with beautiful Korean people with this high level of production value was just, it was mind blowing to me, you know, because I turn on Western television and we're just not there.
I think just to take it a step further, like, I don't know, this scene keeps popping up in my head. Like, I think it was episode 1 or 2, and it was Jingu and Kim Ji-won when they meet in the hospital for the first time. And she basically outranks him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And she makes, and she, like, that whole standoff. I don't think you could pull that scene off in Western television without it becoming different and more toxic. Like, I don't know how to describe it. Like, there's something about that scene that I was like, this is interesting because, I mean, yeah, so that's the scene that really, I think, hooked me into their relationship that I was really into.
I think you alluded on something too. So folks have also said K-dramas being more, so not toxic, but clean television, right? Yeah. I mean, do you feel like that plays a role? And when you're watching, you're not, I mean, you'll see some, what's the most bloodiest K-drama I've seen? I mean, maybe Sweet Home.
Well, they can get violent,
right?
For sure.
They can get violent.
They'll blur out the knife and the blood. And so they'll be talking about a crime case and you're like, well, you're not showing me anything because it's all blurred out. I don't know what's happening.
And I think maybe Vincenzo was maybe the most for a K-drama that I thought was kind of at that level, but even then it didn't faze me because I knew I was watching a K-drama. Do you know what I'm saying? So do you feel like you have that level of comfort watching it? Not like it's gonna, sometimes when you watch other shows or movies, it could not scar you, but leave you like triggered. Do you ever feel that way watching K-dramas?
Oh, Korean films, holy cow.
Yeah. Korean films are whole different. That's a whole different conversation. That's a whole different conversation on another flip side of the spectrum. Yes,
absolutely. Like K-dramas, and then but anyways,
I mean, I don't know. I could stand for a little more sex, but I'm not expecting it from a K-drama.
Right.
That doesn't.
I'm not watching Penthouse purposely, but
Penthouse. Oh, no.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No.
I heard there's a new Songgang K-drama that's coming out that's kind of, they're rating it PG.
That's what we're hearing.
Nevertheless.
But that's probably our version of PG-13. No, I'm just kidding.
Right?
I don't know.
Right? They'll probably kiss just in the first episode. It'll be so scandalous.
Yeah. I mean, we know South Korea is a conservative country. Yeah. I mean, you know, certainly
interesting. So you want
Koreans in my life, the parents are definitely very conservative. Yeah. So yeah.
I mean, listen, I'm usually, and we've talked about this numerous times, we're really excited when a kiss happens and the woman is an active participant. Like, we're like, yes.
Right.
Because, you know, and maybe that's what it is about that scene with Jingu and Kim Ji-won, is like, she's an active participant in what's occurring.
Yeah, actually, I thought their chemistry was amazing.
Yeah.
And so they had some, I heard they took a scene out. Did you hear about that?
I did. And I was super bummed out.
Yeah, I know that could have been good, but So, okay. So we talked about Descendants and Sun. Okay. I know there's a K-drama out there that gives you all the feels.
All the
feel better.
All the feels. Wow.
And you're like, okay, I needed this. I needed to watch this. Made me feel better.
Well, we really could not let Hyena go. How many times did you rewatch it?
I rewatched that one a lot. Hyena was amazing.
Okay,
yeah.
Tell me why, because I have not seen that one.
Oh,
I know. Yeah,
Hyena
mentions it all the time.
I do.
Hyena started off. Do you remember? I was like, I hate her.
Yes.
I actively hate her. The lead, Kimesu.
Yeah.
I'm like, she's horrible. She is horrible. I actively hate her. And by the end, I loved them so much. But I will say again, what I find fascinating about K-dramas is that, and I think it's because they're written mostly by women. And I think that's a very fascinating thing for Korea and Korean dramas. And it's a huge soup that just it fascinates me because the Ju Ji-hoon character was like one of the most he was woke is the wrong word, but he was like the most elevated dude character I've ever seen. Like he understood what happened and he still missed her and he still wanted to talk to her and he was there for her when she had a bad day. Like there was no wrist grabs. There was no jealousy. Like he was a fascinating character to me.
I mean, you've been watching Korean dramas for a long time, right?
Yeah.
So, but you've seen a shift, right? In tropes and in the portrayals of the male leads and the female leads too. Yeah.
So you're saying his is a little shift. The reason why
huge shift. Yeah.
It's a huge shift. Okay, because Hyena, 2016? Is that 2016 drama?
No. Yeah. I want to say 2018.
2018?
No, we were finishing up in the pandemic.
Oh my God, that's right.
It's 2020.
2020. Yeah.
2019.
God, that's right.
2019. Yeah. Okay, maybe there's so much other stuff I wanted to watch that it seemed a little more intense for me.
Yeah.
Remember, I choose the very more because of my own self-care. I'm like, I don't want to see the intense ones. I deal with that in real life. So that's probably, I didn't watch that, but I've heard so many good things. So it's got to be on the top of my list. Yeah. I mean, I hear it all the time. It's probably from you, but
it's intense, but it's not like, it's not those like my Mr. intense. It's more.
I love my Mr. though. Oh, okay.
I haven't watched it yet because it's too intense. I know. Put it on the white girl list of things we need to discuss.
Put it on the white girl list. Oh, it's
I know.
That'll be your therapy homework.
I know my therapy. Oh my God.
Oh,
it's such a good drama. But okay, so Hyena. What else? I think, was that both your choices? You both said Hyena.
I mean, I definitely loved it.
Yeah.
I think when Kingdom came out, it was the zombie popcorn drama we needed, but it was so much more. Yeah. And I think that one did so much for us between Bae-doona, Ju Ji-hoon again,
right?
And the historical aspect, just, that being transported into a really different world.
Yes.
Really. And those zombies are scary. I mean, I don't like zombies, but things that I watch, they're what? They're fast. Yeah. They're fast.
Oh my God. Terrifying. Going off the historical, I will say one that made me so happy was Rookie Historian Go Hae-rang.
Oh, I didn't see that one. I mean, no.
Oh my God.
It made you
I love that one so much.
It's a feminist story wrapped up
in a historical
Joseon era.
Setting. Okay.
Really good.
That made you happy because of that?
Oh my God. It was,
I
think I watched it and literally went back and hit play and watched it again.
Wow. Yeah. All right. And Marisa, how about you? Did you have one of those where you're like, oh my gosh, makes you so happy?
This was a smaller drama. I don't think it was on everyone's radar, but do you like Brahms?
Oh God, yes.
That's funny. I couldn't. Okay, because I kind of dismissed it as it.
Oh no.
Really?
Yeah, we got to I don't know, somewhere between like episode 6 through 13, 14. It was like, how are we going to get out of this? Because Park Hyun-bin, is that her name? Park Hyun-bin.
Eunbin.
Park Eunbin. Park Eun-bin and
Kim Min Jae. Kim Min Jae.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking of another drama, but no, I didn't see that one. Okay. Yeah.
So there's so much that both characters just suppress. And this is not a big, hysterical emotion full of emotion, but they're quiet and they're contemplative, and all these horrible things keep happening to them in terms of interpersonal dynamics. Like there's no truck of doom. It's not that big. It's not full of hyperbole, but these things that keep undercutting them and their work and their studies and their passions with music, just, I don't know, hit me so hard. I think.
Well, and I remember going just kind of to yes, and what Marisa said, we hit episode 14.
Yeah.
And we were like, there's no way this show is pulling this. There's no way they're sticking the landing. This show there's no way. And I think you and I, like on a loop, watched episode 15 and 16. They were so good.
Could not stop.
Wow.
Could not stop.
They did the whole arc pretty well. Like they
stuck that landing. It's so hard. It was a 10 across the board. Yeah. It was amazing.
Yeah.
The way
so you guys have I can tell you guys have the similar taste in K-dramas. Mm-hmm. That's what it looks
like.
Not
always.
No, not always.
I love Goblin. She did not.
Right. So that is a little abnormal, actually. No.
And I know. I will say, the one that's recent that I kind of feel this strongly about, because I'm rewatching it already, is Sell Your Haunted House. If you have not watched it.
Yeah, I definitely have clearly different tastes.
Yes.
Why do you like that one?
I
love the actress, Chung Na.
For me, it was just the full package. It's the sci-fi, it's the comedy, it's the K-Drama Soup.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't lean too heavily in one direction. It was the perfect mix of ingredients for me. And the music drops that they had, and I thoroughly enjoyed it from beginning to end.
I enjoyed it a lot. Am I going to watch it again? I don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah. Is there it really rewatched a lot? Like, are there K-dramas that you've seen it multiple times? Because there's so much content. I don't have time.
Oh my God, it's so hard
to watch. But
that's what we love. We're always really looking to the next one and looking to what are our favorite actors going to be appearing in next.
Right.
So I think that's another thing that drives our love of K-dramas.
And so. Now, love of K-dramas, the emotions and the feels, how has it helped your mental health? Come on, I'm going to go down here. We're going to be
we're going to dig.
We're going full therapy now. Okay.
Like, well, how's it basically, I guess, improved your life? Have you seen things that you've changed in your life because of a K-drama? Not because of a character per se, but just something you've learned. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, one is, pandemic survival toolkit. It was not only watching the K-dramas and having something to look forward to and having a little more time to watch more shows, but having our K-drama live chat, our Clubhouse every Sunday, and Jen's friendship and also Marco, it's our behind the scenes director. It was something so positive and enjoyable and a community at a time when we were all sheltering at home. I swear it got us through.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Yeah.
It was. It was really good. I will say, as the white girl, the whole thing, because I'll be honest, I'm a white person. I live in a white person bubble. I believe that I'm liberal and that I think outside of that, but you don't really recognize the bubble that you are in until you step outside of it. And I've lived in multicultural areas, and I have multicultural friends and experiences like that, but not really until I started studying the Korean language and attending things in an all Korean environment did I maybe experience things from a different perspective. And so it really did do a huge shift for me. Just the way I see the world in general, which it's been really eye-opening and fascinating, and it's been really enjoyable and scary and all those things all at the same time.
So then, okay, I'm focusing on what you just said about learning the Korean language. What made you want to learn more about the Korean language, Korean culture, because of your love for K-dramas, or do you want to use it in your work? I'm just curious. That's super cool.
It's really interesting because at the time I was like, I was definitely getting to the point where I was like, I was tired of being a dumb American, because I feel like, I'm a standard white American girl who basically learned one language, and that's what we the usual, the
American public school
exactly
system, yeah.
right. And
it's refreshing to hear you say that. It's super cool.
Oh yeah,
know,
yeah.
right?
I mean, I know it. I mean, listen, my parents are both teachers, so I have no disrespect for the education system, because that's how my bills got paid when I was growing up. But there are obviously some issues with it, for sure, right? And so, and that's just unfortunately the environment in which the what's the word I'm looking for? It just the generations perpetuated itself. So we got to a point where that's where it was. And I reached a certain point in my life where I didn't want to be a dumb American anymore. And I wanted to learn a second language. And I had spent in high school 5 years learning German. I was terrible at it. I know a bunch of words. I couldn't string a sentence together if you paid me. But I was like, all right, well, I already got 5 years of German in my brain. Let's go there. And then I stumbled on Descendants of the Sun. And there was something about the language. And there's actually this great quote that I have on my wall. And it says, sometimes the language you don't speak speaks to you. And that's really the only way I know how to describe it.
Yeah.
Hearing the Korean language spoke to me in a way that I have no words for. And
God.
so I already had an app where I was learning German. And then I was like, because you know how we all you go down a rabbit hole and you're really into something for a month and then you're done with it. And so I was like, all right, if I'm still into it in a month, I'll put it on the app. And I was still into it in a month, and I put Korean on my app, and I was like, all right, I'll play around. If I still like it in a month, I'll look into something else. And then I just kept growing, and now I have 2 tutors, and I'm planning a language trip to Korea.
Yeah.
So you're learning to speak and read and write?
Yeah.
That is so cool.
I know, it's impressive, right?
Yeah. Well, we should go to Korea. I mean, we're trying to plan a trip to Korea next summer too. So
oh my God, it's amazing.
Yes.
Maybe it should be a whole K-drama Clubhouse something.
Right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool. So, and then Marisa, for you, is there anything you wanted to add about like what it's done in your life or how it's changed your life or things that you've seen in your life? They're like, oh, K-drama.
I think, all right. So growing up, reading the newspaper with my dad, and my brother and my mom around the breakfast table, didn't get a lot of international news, but we'd get a little bit. And, difficult things were happening in the Philippines, and difficult things were happening in Korea too. So 70s and 80s, right? And so the Korea that I see in K-dramas is so different from the Korea in my mind we know the country went through so much in the 80s and 90s.
Right.
And so it's just this idea of a world view and it's like crazy, right? Is it weird? Not weird, but it's phenomenal, right? To see BTS. It's phenomenal to see Hangul on a chicken McNugget thing.
I know. Yeah.
Right.
I know. By the way, did you try those sauces?
No, I've heard the Cajun one.
Okay. Yeah, the Cajun, I like the sweet chili one better, but
oh yeah,
I don't like any other sauces, to be honest with you. I was just trying to support the BTS, gift.
Right. But we don't even have all of the purple packaging in the US.
No, we don't have any of it. Like people are like, I went and got my McNuggets, and there's like nothing. There's not even like special sauces. It's just a regular McNugget Happy Meal. I was like, well, that's disappointing.
That's terrible. What?
Right? It is, yeah, because at least you should have their BTS sauces. That's
that's what I made sure before I pulled out the window. I'm like, okay, I see my BTS sauce.
Right?
Oh, good. Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
So for me, any Asian representation is huge. Listen, Asia, okay, we're not a monolith, but the idea that people are embracing Korean food, Korean culture is phenomenal to me. I mean, our food, Asian food, was stinky when we were kids, or when you brought it to lunch in elementary school. And so from then on, it was peanut butter and jelly sandwiches because we didn't want to be different. And now, I mean, we live in Los Angeles. It's a huge Korean population. To see, all these different ethnicities enjoying Korean barbecue, like that hits me on this level that it's just a little, it's amazing. It's amazing to me.
That's so cool. Yeah, because I feel that way too, but I think it's super cool hearing other people, talking about it as well. So, okay, last question. Your current K-drama, because I know there's so many, because usually I used to ask, what's your favorite K-drama? And everyone's like, so I was like, okay. Forget that question because I can't answer that either. But your current favorite K-drama that's keeping you sane?
Oh, current.
Well, mine's easy. Mine is Sell Your Haunted House. So yes.
Okay, Sell Your Haunted House. That's almost done, right? Or is it done?
Yeah, just finished.
Okay, just finished. Okay.
Just finished.
Okay, good to know. On my list, Sell Your Haunted House.
Like at this particular moment, I'm not.
Marissa's looking at her list. What?
This is like
because
yes.
Oh, Move to Heaven.
Oh, there you go.
Move to Heaven on Netflix.
Okay, we got to talk about that. Pause. Why do you like it? I love Move to Heaven.
This is where Marissa and I. This is where
She's
we.
like, no.
I'm like,
Yeah. So Move to Heaven's kind of my jam, even though it's a little bit. I kind of avoid it when I hear trauma clean. I'm like, no. But then, EJ Hoon, whatever. And then I watched the first episode and I was like, okay, let me keep going. Okay, let me keep going. So, yeah.
Yeah, that they take a death in pretty much every episode or so. But it becomes a healing story.
Yes.
And the relationship between
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I know, right? The relationship between Ji Jin-hee and his son was so beautiful. And then understanding Ji Jin-hee's background, like as we understand Lee Jae-hoon's character and I'm like it's just oh my God.
Yes, it is. Yes. Yes. So I started watching it because of people's insistence or people making me watch it. No, I'm just kidding. But I'm like, fine. And then I was like, oh my gosh.
See, and that right there is why I don't want to watch it. It's oh my God. I don't want to.
Oh, I see, Jen.
Yeah.
No, break you through my mister.
Oh, she doesn't like to cry. Whereas I'm like, it took me a while to watch my mister, and then I finally did. I'm like, oh, this is so beautiful.
I cried through True Beauty. Okay, so I cried through.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like for me, a healing drama that makes me super happy was Hello Me, right? And I got a little weepy at the end when she finally got to embrace who she was, and those are the healing dramas that I like. Like death and
you know what you like. That's what it's important.
Exactly.
So yes, you stick to that. It's okay. You don't like Goblin.
Right, thank you. Are you sure? Are you sure?
Yeah, I do know because I've heard a lot of people actually 50-50 don't like it. So why didn't you like it? Curious.
Wow, that's a really big question. I just oh wow. Gong Yu's character confused me on every level. Like he went from being this wacky animated cartoon character to this brooding god of, not mischief, but this brooding god of a goblin. And I was just like, pick a lane, dude, pick a lane. And then I never bought the romance because I just thought the age gap was just way too epic. I liked them when for that, I think it was an episode and a half when she was like 28.
Right.
I enjoyed those couple of episodes.
Yeah.
I was just really, again, I was second couple the whole time.
That was a great second couple.
That was great. Most of the K-drama, the best K-dramas have the best second leads.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I cried my way through True Beauty. I was like, why am I crying? It's a high school drama. But
right.
But that's awesome. I'm so excited to have you guys. Any last words? I know. Oh, I've got to ask you guys because you love doing K-drama reviews. Have you ever tried to convince someone to watch a K-drama? Because you love them so much. When people are like, why are you guys doing the K3? What's so great about it? What do you guys say?
You mean K-dramas?
Elevator speech.
Oh, and K-dramas in general?
Yeah, or just why do you
one.
Yeah, why did you decide to do this YouTube channel? And why do you love talking about it? And people are asking you very skeptically. Let's just say you get a skeptic going, what's so great about K-dramas?
Okay.
That's a really okay.
Let's see. The elevator speech.
The elevator speech is, I do get it a lot where people are like, that's super random. And I'm like, I know, but it's super cool. I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. I really enjoy it. I'm like, but my big comeback is always like, but have you watched one yet?
Yeah.
So that's true. Because they'll say it and they haven't watched it.
Exactly.
Right. I think when you have strong stories, great production value, universal themes that are attracting people literally from all over the world, what we do with our channel is we have a community of people from all over the world who love these stories. Yeah. And we love sharing those thoughts, whether they're quibbles or whether it's great passion. we all have a passion for actually talking and sharing about them.
She's
she pretty much summed
much
it up.
better at this than I am.
That was awesome. I love that you said universal themes.
Yeah.
I think that's what gets people. Like we all can relate, you know, and watching that, and including the white girl, clearly, which I love.
Clearly,
I
even
love
the
that.
white girls
You
are
should be the
enjoying
poster child.
the K-dramas. What's that?
I said you should be the poster child.
Right?
And look, and by the way, any favorite Korean foods that you love? Watch when you're watching, I get hungry, so I'll try to make something. But anything that you particularly have you tried all the Korean food out there, or things you want to try? Curious.
I have a small problem because I'm allergic to wheat, so I can't eat anything in soy with soy sauce. I can't eat anything that's breaded. So I can do Korean barbecue that is unmarinated, and I can do a bibimbap with no meat.
Oh my.
Yeah,
I know.
Sure there's stuff though. I'm sure there's but soy sauce never.
I know, right? We need a conversation with you and our other Korean and Korean American friends when we go to Korea, because I need to make sure Jen doesn't starve.
Right. Because
yeah.
what happens to you, because you said you're allergic, do you actually have like a
I'm not, I mean, I don't have like full on like celiac. I have a gluten allergy. And so I just get a lot of stomach issues and stuff.
Sure. No,
so
that's
just zero fun. So yeah.
You already got me thinking. I'm like, yeah, what can she eat?
Right? I mean, I enjoy
the steamed egg is good.
Steamed egg is good. I'm a big fan of hilariously, we'll go to like a Korean barbecue and we'll tell our waiter that I have this problem, and the sweetest ones will always give me the banchan that have no soy sauce. They're like, you can eat that, and I'm like, oh, thank you. And so I get like 4. Marisa gets 12. I get like 4.
I'm totally thinking, oh my gosh. Okay, I'll have to think for you. That's a challenge.
Yeah.
Well, you guys, thank you so much. This has been so much fun. I'm joining you guys Sunday.
Yes.
Tell everybody your time of the show and when you guys are live.
We are currently on a break right now. We actually just did a quick live one today, so you can catch the replay, but we are coming back live the second week of July, every Sunday at 11 a.m. Pacific time. That is when we do it. Sundays at 11.
Sunday, 7 a.m. Wow, that's early for you guys.
No, it's 11 a.m.
11 a.m.
11 a.m. Sorry, 11 a.m. Okay.
Like 7 a.m.
Pacific time. I thought
I'd be in a baseball hat every week if we did a 7 a.m.
Thanks so much for joining me, guys. Love you guys.
Thank you.
You can listen in on platforms such as Spotify, Pandora, Google, and Apple, but also watch the podcast on our Noona's Noonchi YouTube channel every Monday, where it launches at 6 p.m. Eastern.